Youth's involvement in agriculture as part of efforts to address malnutrition and unemployment. Speculations and myths about COVID-19 vaccination in Ebonyi State. And experts advocate the regulation of environmental degradation. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of The Correspondence. It promises to be another interesting package with me, Tessie Omeri. Thanks for your time. Let's begin with what can be called the federal government's heartbeat at the moment. That is agriculture. To achieve the desire of promoting food security, key players say youths, as the active population, must play a significant role. Correspondent Mariam George Jitubo takes a look at how agriculture can be made attractive to the youths.
After a period of food crisis largely blamed on the dwindling capacity of a generation of aging smallholder farmers and their correspondingly outdated methods, Nigeria is set to witness the desired transformation in the agricultural sector with the intervention of the Nigerian youths, which has begun a process of an active return back to farming with technology and partnership with other stakeholders. This is no surprise because it is not a coincidence that virtually all public discussions these days, in one way or the other, is heavily tilted towards food availability, inflation, and supply. To this end, farming to boost food supply is on the front burner.
In Nigeria, we have a lot of land, opportunities, water that we can produce even to export. So we look at what are we doing, what are we not doing right. Even as we are doing this, it is not enough because the market is very big.
Agri can actually generate a lot of revenue for Nigeria, and that is what we should also be looking at. We have countries, in Africa, you look at Thailand, we all talk about Thai rice and all of that. Massive income generation for those countries. And at some point in Nigeria too, we have the cocoa industry in the southwest. Look at the granite pyramid in the north. Look at, in Nigeria, we were exporting these things and we were, actually generating income. But when oil came up, everybody dropped that.
It's now rice, local rice. It started with your father rice. Then it started with the Aba made rice. And then now you're having rice from Castina. You're having rice from Adamawa. You're having rice. All of that coming in. And even Lagos State latched on to that opportunity and gave its own lake rice. So there is business there, but we need to understand that, one, machinery is key.
In trying to dissect the problems with the Nigerian agricultural practice, findings show that the youths are disinterested in farming, given the failure of the older generation to break even through farming. Some analysts feel the farming struggles of their parents may have discouraged them from agriculture.
In agriculture, one of the key points is already been laid down already. When government says they want to block the border, no importations of food items. Then of course, if there's no importation, what else do? Then we must go back to the available lands that God has blessed us with in Nigeria. So start cultivating so as to come up with what we can now eat, what is sufficient that we cannot export. But then it doesn't stop there. Program and education must be keeping along and back to education. If you don't organize programs, retreats to the youth to understand how important this agriculture is, tell them that, okay, if you invest this is what will come out of it.
In Nigeria, for example, the federal government is not tapping enough, even though we've seen enough. We've seen some reasonable participation. But what we need is a situation where we don't have to pay for light. If the federal government can give us light, do you know what it means to have eggs come out from poultry and you cannot preserve these eggs in a cool environment just for the next market? And then you now have bad roads. If the roads are not economically viable to transfer eggs, you know how easily eggs break. You see, so all of these systems need to be in place.
The youth should be lured back into agriculture with technology and other inducements like adequate financing. There is a need to make the sector more technologically enabled, compatible with smallholders' challenges. It must also be affordable and sustainable. Apart from the funding barrier, there is also the need to increase their capacity, as many do not have the required knowledge or skills to take advantage of the potential of the agricultural sector. Access to technology is another challenge for this group, and innovation in the sector will create change in the perception of youths and transform their mindset about the sector.
with you, Mariam. Agriculture is no longer seen as a dirty job, especially now that the federal government is encouraging the establishment of urban farms and small home gardens. Nigerian youths can take advantage of the opportunity to become self-reliant. Thanks a lot. And to health matters. As the federal and some state governments make the COVID-19 vaccination mandatory for their employees, many state governments are intensifying efforts in the vaccination exercise. One of them is Ebonyi State. However, correspondent Fortunate Ozo reports that majority of the people are yet to receive the vaccine.
Despite the outbreak of the first and second waves of the COVID-19 pandemic across the globe, and Nigeria in particular, it is shocking to note that a good number of people are yet to take their COVID-19 vaccine, while most individuals and institutions seem to have relaxed in terms of observing the COVID-19 protocols.
There have been too many myths and too many stories about it. So I'm trying to play safe.
Okay.
I am very willing to do that for as long as all those stories are doubts.
When we went to camp, we were still confused of taking it, whether if we take it, it will affect us or not. So we are afraid of taking it. But right now, if I have the chance, I will take it.
No. Why not?
No reason.
No reason? So if you have the opportunity to be vaccinated now, will you avail yourself of the opportunity?
Yes.
Our dear governor, who is a health-friendly governor, has done quite a lot in the control of this pandemic. Even before it started, even before we recorded the index case, we had already constructed and equipped isolation centers.
Other respondents interviewed by NTA News said they have taken the first and second doses of the vaccine and encouraged people to go for the vaccine.
There's no effect whatsoever. Only that day, at least man no be wood. I felt a little bit pain. Yeah, perhaps the next day I was myself.
I encourage the people to go on, take it, because you don't know what might come out, maybe tomorrow or something like that. You have to take it. I think it's of our good health.
When we went inside the villages, some take, some say no. But so many of them took, even requesting, even the time we are not ready for injection, so many people come and register so that they will take the injection. So many of them in the villages.
Although there are speculations and myths about COVID-19 vaccine, experts say it is safe and has no adverse effect.
And Fortunate also joins us via telephone call to speak further on the status of COVID-19 vaccination in Ebonyi State. Hello, Fortunate. You're welcome to the correspondence.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same here. All right, Fortunate, the burden of COVID-19 pandemic has drastically reduced in Ebonyi State. But there is still COVID-19 hesitancy among the people. Can you tell us why is it so?
Well, I think the problem is a general problem. I did a report, and from my findings, I discovered the burden has actually reduced in the state. But just like in so many other places, people are afraid. The people I interviewed allayed their fears, and they said a lot of things. They believe after 2 years, anyone who gets vaccinated will die. And some others believe that they will have sore arms, and some believe they will have fever, some aches, so many fears from different quarters. That is why some people slack concerning taking the vaccine. And I came across someone who said, actually, some are willing, but because of the stories, they are reneging and they are neglecting the entire process of getting vaccinated. But I believe that if the necessary steps are taken to give them enough sensitization, the people are out. As they told me, they are really ready and willing to get vaccinated.
Oh, okay. Like you said, is a general problem that Nigerians refuse to take a COVID-19 vaccine. Tell us, what is the Ebonyi State experience and the implications? Looking at those scary myths you just mentioned, where are they getting them from?
Okay. I think these are myths. They just came from nowhere. I believe it must have started from somewhere, and people took it and started peddling the rumors here and there. I think if it is not based, it is not something that is founded or tested. I think it's just a mere rumor, a mere hearsay, and then it is spreading. It is making the rounds. People are buying into it. If you trace it, I don't think it has an origin. And nevertheless, the Ebonyi State government is trying their best to ensure that the people get vaccinated, despite the fears and all that. I spoke with the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Daniel Umezurike, and apart from having spoken with him, I have also seen health experts moving from one place to the other, trying to sensitize people, trying to tell them to come out of their shells. Some even believe that the COVID-19 vaccine is giving them the mark of the beast, 666. There's nothing you can't hear, you know. So I believe the state government is crying out loud for people to come out, because I know that if you don't get vaccinated, you not only constitute a risk to yourself, you constitute a risk to your family, to people around you. So I think it is better to be vaccinated rather than entertaining fears that are not based, that are not founded.
Yeah. So like I said, scary myths, that is to say, understatement, talking about mark of the beast, that is huge. I want to believe probably with lots of our enlightenment, time will tell. Now, does the state have enough dosage of a vaccine for the citizens?
Well, currently, as we are talking, the state is short of COVID-19 vaccine. Yes, I know they have taken delivery of the AstraZeneca and Moderna vaccine, but right now, as I am talking to you, from my research that I made in the appropriate quarters, they are currently short of COVID-19 vaccine. And I also went further to find out what is going to be done about it, and they said that they have complained to the relevant authorities, and they have promised to bring some more vaccine to the state.
Fortunate, what about the enforcement of our COVID-19 protocols in the state? It looks like only banks are still enforcing the no mask, no entry standard. Tell us, how is it like, talking about the protocols?
Well, in the state here, just like in other places, from my observation, people seem to have relaxed. You know, all those sensitization, running of jingles and all that. Generally, it is not just in Ebonyi State. People seem to have relaxed because I think we are not getting more cases of COVID-19 these days. Nevertheless, whenever there is any state function, that is when the government ensures fully that all the protocols, especially that of no mask, no entry protocol, is being enforced. Yes, but when it comes to individual, they do not really pay much attention to that no mask, no entry protocol.
All right, now, Fortunate, how will you rate the state's sensitization efforts to get more people vaccinated?
Well, for now, I will say that the state government has done noble. They have tried their best in sensitizing people to get vaccinated. However, I know that currently there are teams, not just now, since the inception of this whole COVID-19 pandemic, since the index case was recorded and the vaccines were brought, the state actually deployed teams of health experts moving around different corners of the state and vaccinating people and also sensitizing them. I was opportune to hear from one of the primary health care workers the kind of things she said that she experienced in the field, in the rural areas where she went to give the vaccination to people. But fair enough, people are responding. People are responding in as much as others are turning their backs on the post.
Okay, that's a good one. You mentioned a lot of myths, a lot of reasons why people would not want to take these vaccines, and they are actually things that would discourage people from nowhere, all those myths. What is the state government doing to allay the fears of those who are suspicious about the vaccination?
Well, I think it's all about sensitization. More sensitization, and more sensitization. And resensitization of those who have been sensitized before. Currently, the state is broadening its horizon and making sure that they undertake some stiffer measures in talking to people. Just like the federal government has stipulated 1st December as from that day, any federal government worker who has been vaccinated or shown the certificate of the test proving negative is not going to gain entry into the work premises. I think the state government is also towing that same path, ensuring that every civil servant is vaccinated. And they are taking the campaign to offices to, first of all, sensitize people before they can relax and receive the vaccine. So this is what the government is doing. They are really moving around and trying their best to get the people, because this is not something you force people to do.
Sure.
So that is why the sensitization is very necessary.
Yes.
After talking to people, you will see them coming down and then they receive the vaccine.
Okay, thank you so much, Fortunate, for the insight on COVID-19 vaccination in Ebonyi State. We hope to see you again on the program soon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Still to come on the program, effects of conflicts on the environment. Join us again after the break.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Welcome back to the correspondence. Now to environment matters. Conflicts cause social disorder, chaos, and confusion in the society, and by extension, affect the environment negatively. Moreover, wars, a form of conflicts, may destroy the lives and property of countless individuals, but it goes beyond killing to the destruction of biodiversity. And so, Environmental experts are urging Nigerians to shun any action that can trigger conflicts and wars, as this does not only result in human casualties, but destruction of natural resources and the environment. Correspondent Charity James takes the story from here.
Although humanity usually assesses the impact of conflict and wars based on human casualties, destroyed cities, and livelihood, the environment has often remained an unpublicized victim of conflicts.
One, there is environmental changes as a result of conflicts. It slows down economic progress, and besides, it has serious effect on the psychic of the people.
There's oil wells. There will break down of pipeline, and the water bodies will be flooded with oil. No water for consumption. Fishes will die. Other aquatic animals will be destroyed. So conflicts go beyond killing and maiming to destruction of biodiversity.
United Nations Environmental Probe has found that 40% of internal conflicts have been linked to the exploitation of natural resources, resulting in environmental degradation and other negative impacts.
The conflict area, conflict impact assessment will embrace environmental impact assessment and other assessments as well, social assessment. It's comprehensive, and that is when we can actually know the extent to which that conflict has affected both the human resources and the natural resources. They are abandoned, the environment is destroyed, and all lead to deprivation. Under conflict situation, people just set fire. They just set fire to the bush, even if it is for the purpose of catching a few animals. They just set fire, destroy the resources. So under a conflict situation, people will mine and dispose of this dangerous waste anyhow. The waste will not be treated. The mining sites will not be rehabilitated. They'll just mine, get the mines, and escape.
Considering the negative impact of conflict and wars to the environment, environmental experts say resources-related conflict should be addressed on time, while actions that can help sustain natural resources should be encouraged for a healthy environment.
Families sitting together to discuss and reach a consensus on how to handle their own conflict. And by interacting at that level, it builds their capacity to be able to handle conflicts both in the families and the immediate communities, because capacities are built when use is planned use of resources to satisfy ourselves now, and also giving chance for future generations of our people to also use the resources. We know that carbon sequestration, that is the removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, is mainly the duty of forests and green vegetation. If the freshwater system, that is the inland waters, are properly harnessed for fisheries resources, it will greatly augment that which we catch from the oceans. But you see, sometimes people use poor methods to harvest fish. I've seen people who use gamalin 20. They just pour gamalin 20 into a stream and it will kill everything, both small and big, and so on. They use explosives and so on. So we need regulation. In fact, these are criminal acts.
Often, conflicts are directly linked to environmental degradation. Hence, the need for peaceful coexistence, experts say, has become imperative.
Yes, Charity, peaceful coexistence no doubt brings about national development and even the preservation of biodiversity. Many thanks. And with that, we conclude the correspondence this week. Many thanks for being part of it. Join us again next week, same time on another edition. And a quick reminder that COVID-19 is still around us. Continue to abide by government regulations and safety protocols. And more importantly, get vaccinated, take responsibility and stay safe. Rape is a crime. Join NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. Bye for now.
Today's growing trend is the beard. This facial hairstyle is common amongst the youth and the middle age all over the world. What is fashionable about the beard?
It's just a personal thing. As you grow up, you continue to find those things that make you look the way you want. Maybe you're copying somebody's your role model. You just want to be like the person. It's just a personal thing. And I'm somebody who don't like shaving. I don't like going to the barbing salon always. So this is the easier way I can stay out going to the barbing salon.
I just woke up one day, just changed my attitude of keeping beards, and I love it.
From the part I come from, we keep beards. So, I don't know. Since I'm a fashion designer, I don't have anything to do with fall, so I believe keeping beards is just a lifestyle. It's just a design. It's a thing I like.
Facial hair gives the men the opportunity to express their looks, of whom they are and how they want to be perceived by others. This fashion has been a trend for years. Now, see this one. Check the other one out. Beards come in different shapes and lengths. It can depend on one's choice to suit his looks. These days, lovers of fashion and styles are now spotted with different shapes, such as the full beards, stripe, goatee, round look, as the list is endless. No wonder that beards remain fashionable for men, inasmuch as it is well cared for by the wearer.
Men are I've met few of my friends who have actually told me, oh, I want to grow beards because that's the in thing now, and they feel it's the new swag. So basically, I think I like guys with beards, but please shave it according to, in a way that will approach you.
I keep beards because one, I've loved keeping beards right from childhood. If I see people that have their beards, how they carve it, keep it clean, I always admire them. Secondly, at least if you can keep it clean, shave it properly, dress it well, it makes you appear neat and decent. Secondly, it gives you a little grading as in aging. When people look at you, kind of, at least you are matured.
If the person shaves the beard well, then it's fine. But if it's big and all, it makes the person look kind of scary sometimes. But then most guys, when their beards are well shaved, then it boosts their confidence.
It also adds beauty to formal and informal dressing of the menfolk in a well-shaved look. Oh yeah! Beards have come to stay. Rock it, guys!
Hello, here's the news update to Ruth Aguela. The Canadian Ministry of Health in Ontario says it has confirmed 2 cases of Omicron COVID-19 variant in 2 individuals who recently traveled from Nigeria. The ministry in a statement says Ottawa Public Health is conducting case and contact management. Federal Minister of Health John Yves Duclos also confirms Canada's first 2 cases, saying he is working with the province public health officials to trace the cases. And for us in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Health and Nigeria Center for Disease Control says they're aware of reports of a new COVID-19 variant, Omicron. The Health Ministry says it is monitoring emerging evidence on this new variant and its implication to inform Nigeria's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The variant was first identified from testing done on 9th November 2021 in Botswana on travelers from West Africa. And the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 110 new cases of the virus in the country. The 110 new cases brings the total number of confirmed cases to 214,092. 207,254 have been discharged and 2,976 deaths so far recorded in the country. A bit of the environment here. The federal government says it will increase close interface with members of the various communities in Ogoni land where remediation projects are going on. The Minister of State Environment, Sharon Ikeazo, says the interface will give government better understanding of the immediate needs and concerns of the people. And on security, troops, land and air component troops of Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai have killed several Boko Haram and Islamic State West African Province terrorists in an encounter at Forward Operating Base Gajiram and Gazay local government area of Borno State. The spokesperson of Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, says troops of Sector 3 Operation Hadinkai, supported by the Nigerian Air Force component, engaged the terrorists with superior firepower while attempting to infiltrate the Forward Operating Base. During the gun duel, however, 2 soldiers paid the supreme price. As investigations into the Sunday's attack of Just Correctional Center continues, the State Deputy Governor Sonny Toyden, along with security chiefs, has inspected facilities at the center. He, however, declined comments at the end of the inspection visit. Latest reports say 7 cops have so far been recorded. Emergency responders have finally put off the fire at a 3-story building along Fatai Atere off Ladipo Market, Lagos, but we hear no casualty was recorded. Those are the stories we have for you at this time. Thanks for your time.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Is Nigeria's criminal justice system working? That question can be answered from many dimensions. But in the light of the enactment of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 6.5 years ago, there's no way reference will not be made to how effective the implementation of that legislation has been. As we have done in various parts and times on this program, we shall again be looking at Nigeria's Criminal Justice Act. But this time, we want to break it down into various parts. Welcome to the scale of justice. I am Femi Okeowo. For quite a number of people, lawyers inclusive, their assessment of the success or failure of the criminal justice system in Nigeria always points to the number of awaiting trial inmates in our correctional centers. Even when there is a jailbreak, people are quick to point to the fact that these jailbreaks, even though emanating from external forces, must have also been induced by the high number of awaiting trials. But then, do they have any correlation? Our correspondent Victor Azu is going to give us a peg. He looks at jailbreaks, the congestion in prison centers, and how the Criminal Justice Act can help in diffusing the tension in our jail centers.
On Saturday, 23rd October 2021, Nigerians woke up to the news of yet another jailbreak, this time at the Oyo State Custodial Center, Abolongo, the third between April and October 2021 alone. With the aid of dynamites, 837 inmates set to be awaiting trial were set free. Only some have been rearrested. In September, 240 inmates were similarly set free at the Kaba Medium Security Custodial Center in Kogi State, and not all of them are back in custody. Before then, there was the Owerri jailbreak in Imo State, where more than 1,800 inmates were let loose. Again, not all of them have been rearrested. Analysts suggest that some of those who now roam free contribute to the spate of insecurity across the country. The jailbreaks in Edo and neighboring Ondo states during the EndSARS protests also readily come to mind. What could be responsible for the growing culture of jailbreaks in Nigeria? We took this question to Dr. Uju Agomo, taking into account her more than 25 years' experience advocating welfare and rehabilitation of inmates.
When you see many of the facilities that you see people running away, they are, or breaking the facility, is usually facilities that have high number of persons who have not been determined whether they are guilty or not. In other words, those you classify as awaiting trial. The facilities are overstretched. So the other facilities, whether it be accommodation, whether it be sanitary, whether it be food, everything is stretched. The second issue is what facilities, how are we fortifying the facilities that we have designated as custodial or correctional centers?
The frustration of former Controller General of Corrections, Jafaru Ahmed, was palpable as he engaged the media in 2019.
I've just raised an issue with the man from Rivers, that Port Harcourt prison has 804 capacity, is locking over 4,000, and out of them he said 3,800 are awaiting trial persons. People need not to come as awaiting trial persons and spend years as awaiting trial. There is no need for that. The press should sit up to ensure that those arresting authorities and those who give judgment on this do their work to ensure that they do congest the prisons through formal either giving judgment or discharging and acquitting them to go back to members of society.
As it was then, so it is now. Inmates awaiting trial still constitute more than 70% of the total number. The Oyo State Custodial Center aptly captures the situation. Although established with a capacity of 160 inmates, the custodial center had a total population of 907 inmates at the time of attack. Of this number, those awaiting trial were 837, representing 92% of the inmates, and all of them were set free. Only 64 were actual convicts. So, what are the causes of delay in the dispensation of justice?
The need to balance the presumption of innocence, which the Constitution raises in favor of the accused person, the need to ensure that justice is served in favor of the victim of the alleged crime, and the need for the society itself to see that, look, the bulwark that the law put in place for the purposes of reward and punishment in order to ensure the bonds of the society is also put in place.
Hailed as solution to all these challenges in 2019, poor implementation of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act means that 2 years on, the same problems remain. What are the possible solutions?
Change what happens in terms of the intention and the conditions and the proportion of the persons who are waiting trial because this is a crisis, and then fortify the facilities.
The executive has to sit up more than before by making adequate facilities in terms of funding available to the investigative and prosecuting agencies.
Another concern raised by actors in the criminal justice system is the cost of prosecuting thousands of persons who could have been easily dealt with using non-custodial measures.
Now, having looked at the circumstances and the situation in our various correctional centers, we now begin to look at attempts, continuous attempts that are being made to improve the criminal justice system in Nigeria. The Act itself creates a body known as the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee. And this monitoring committee is expected to be continuously looking at how the Administration of Criminal Justice Act is being implemented and how states are also coming into making it work. Of course, states are expected to have adopted the Administration of Criminal Justice laws in their various states, and so they are also mandated to have these kind of committees. The first conference of this committee was held in Abuja, and the scale was there to look at how this committee impacts positively on the administration of criminal justice and how it actually monitors its implementation. Once a law is made, particularly one that is thought to be as revolutionary as the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, citizens have a right to assess it based on its impact on the system. And for the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, its impact is assessed based on the awaiting trial numbers that we still have in our courts. As part of the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, the Act itself directs the establishment of monitoring committees at the federal level and in states that have adopted the law. Only 3 states are said not to have adopted ACJA yet. So the conference gave a wide opportunity for an in-depth appraisal of both ACJA itself and the monitoring committees.
I would not want to believe that the ACJL monitoring committee doesn't have any effect. In fact, one of the important functions that monitoring committee has to perform is decongestion of courts. And in actual fact, in the performance of these duties, we do visit the correctional centers. And when we visit, we normally make release for those that are entitled to those releases. We don't release just capriciously. There are some things we take into effect. We look into whether the circumstances of arrest of that person is not justified under the law, and therefore the continued detention will not be justifiable. Then we look at those that have spent more than the number of years, which even if they have been convicted, they will have used. Well, we do release them. Then the monitoring committee itself, during our meetings, we look at all stakeholders that are being represented, and where they have challenges, you bring it up. At times, we do even send messages to the State Security Council.
Before the law comes into effect, we always played the stakeholders in the Justice Committee has always played the blame game, what we call the blame game. The prison will blame the prosecutors for not bringing the accused. But with coming into law, effect of that law, almost every other thing took shape, and today there are the legal process is faster, criminal-wise, than what it used to be in those days. I think substantially we have gained a lot from.
We are not seeing it in the statistics of awaiting trials in our correctional centers.
Well, I think we must also appreciate the fact that the complexity of the country breed more criminals. We must admit that. We have a lot of turnout, but because people keep committing crimes, that explains why you still have a lot in the prison. But I must confess to you that as a stakeholder and somebody who's active in the justice sector system, I know very well that it has played a lot of. We now have 2-3 days trials, criminal trials, even armed robbery. Very tough. I mean, capital offences are tried within 2 or 3 days. I know CJs like Kwara takes up murder cases in 2-3 days. So you have. It's no more what it used to be. I love this idea of interlocutory applications coming after the hearing of the case is again one of the very fundamental developments.
Reports of the monitoring committees should be given prompt attention.
Gradually, we are putting systems and mechanism in place in terms of the oversight. We've identified the challenges, we've identified the major loopholes, both in terms of remand proceedings. CJ has set up a committee to deal with that. We have done a practice direction that will be dealing with the issue of remand, because it's not all the people who are awaiting trial are actually awaiting trial. Some of them are not even charged. So that is like a major issue that we have identified. That it's quite a number of people detained and not actually charged before the court. They are still investigated and they are in the correctional facilities. So those ones, we now segregated them. And that's obviously for the first time.
You segregate them on paper, but you don't segregate them in the correctional centers.
That's a matter for the correctional. We've now trained them. We've not trained. We've also sat round table with the correctional service services, and they have also identified. We've also advised them in a way to manage that process, so that they are not just segregated on paper. They're actually segregated. Well, on paper is important because once you have entered that this is not our waiting trial person, it's actually pre-charge. Then they will know how to treat them separately. And then they will also we've also adverted their mind to the fact that they have power to be bringing such people before the court, to say that these people should not be with us. Their time, people are given 14 days, and then if their time have actually expired, there's no reason for them to be kept further. So the correctional service, the act itself granted the actual service the power to bring those sort of people, but they were not aware hitherto. And so I know that is being managed.
As a result of all this, and knowing that the success of Abuja is work in progress, the conference of the monitoring committee is now to be annual. I hope we have been able to deal substantially with the issue of the administration of criminal justice, its monitoring, and how these bodies impact positively on our administration of criminal justice in Nigeria. On the scale, we are introducing a segment to keep educating our viewers on how the law operates generally. And because today our focus is on the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, Olabode Arewa went out to speak to lawyers on how this legislation is working in Nigeria. So, we take you on this first segment of You and the Law.
By virtue of the provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, an accused person is now presumed innocent by virtue of the fact that you are no longer addressed as an accused, but you are now seen as a mere defendant. So that is very fundamental among the amendments that this Act have introduced.
Of course, basically, the objective of the Act is well captured in the relevant section of the Act. Section 1 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act clearly stipulates the aims and objective of the Act. It said the purpose of this Act is to ensure that the system of administration of criminal justice in Nigeria to promote efficient management of criminal justice institutions, speedy dispensation of justice, promotion of the society from crime, protection of the society from crime, and protection of the rights and interests of the suspect, the defendants, and the victim. It's equally worthy of note to state that the enactment has brought to bear the enforcement of the law, which makes provision for only criminals or suspected criminals to only be arrested or arraigned, as it were. Before now, we've had cases where people are arrested because their children, are alleged to have committed offenses. People are arrested because of their relatives or spouses are alleged to have committed offenses. But as it is now, this law, the extant provision now, Section 7 specifically of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 has clearly stipulated that there is no arrest in lieu of another person. So where you are not the suspect, irrespective of your affinity, irrespective of your relationship with the person who is the alleged suspect, you can never be tried or even arrested in place of that person. So we equally have the mandatory inventory of properties. By virtue of this enactment now, Section 10 clearly stipulates that once a suspect is arrested, that everything within his possession should be adequately recorded and documented. Before now, people are arrested, you have so many things with you, you have money, you have other belongings. As soon as your property is invaded, your premises is invaded, the police will not want to account for whatever, was taken from your premises and maybe taken from you. But Section 10 now clearly stipulates, of that Act, clearly stipulates that there should be adequate documentation, in fact, mandatory documentation of all properties, taken from the suspect at the time of arrest.
It's also served as a wake-up call for prosecutors. If you must take anybody to court, make sure you do a very thorough investigation. When the proceedings eventually begin, you must be very thorough also in the course of proceedings, so that you don't subject a citizen to this process twice over a matter which should be done just once.
Now, this segment, You and the Law, will continue to run in the years and weeks to come, and it is meant to continue to shed light on how the law affects you and how it impacts on society. Another segment that has been regular on the scale is From the Courts. And here is Amarachukwu Omenka with gists of things that have been happening in the various courts.
A 38-year-old man, Sekiru Jamilu, was on Tuesday dragged before an Ijabu magistrate court in Ogun State for alleging texting a seductive WhatsApp message to a housewife. Jamilu was dragged before the court and charged by the police with misconduct in breaching peace in the marriage of one Mrs. Okweme by sending her a WhatsApp message. According to a charge sheet, Jamilu sent a good morning babe message through WhatsApp to Mrs. Okweme, who is a married woman. The charge read that you, Sekiru Jamilu, male, sent a message in a manner that caused a breach of peace in a marriage between one Mrs. Okwemi by using a word, "Good morning, babe," on WhatsApp, and thereby committed an offense contrary and punishable under Section 249D of the Criminal Code, Revised Law of Ogun State of Nigeria 2016. No date having fixed for the hearing. 3 men have been arraigned in Ikeja Magistrate Court for alleging stealing iPhone and other items. The police charged 22-year-old Oluwafemi Adeji, 27-year-old Oluwatunji Adeosun, and 24-year-old Peter Oladepo with conspiracy, theft, and falsification. The 3 defendants, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. The prosecution counsel, ASP Victor Eruda, told the court that the defendants and the person at large committed the offense in September 11, 2021 at Computer Village, Ikeja. The defendants stole items worth 1 million naira, 10 Bluetooths worth 1 million naira, and 15 iPhones worth 9.75 million naira. The defendants also stole a MacBook, laptop, and other valuable items. According to the prosecution, the 3 defendants also falsified sales invoice containing false information of the items. Eruda stated that the offense contravened the provision of Section 411, 287, and 363 of the Criminal Law Code of Lagos State 2015. Magistrate T.O. Tamilo admitted the defendants to a bail in the sum of 300,000 naira each, with 2 sureties in like sum.
So much on the scale today. We have focused largely on the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and in subsequent weeks, we shall be looking at other areas of the law that impact on our society. We'll see you again.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Education, they say, is the bedrock of every society. And that's why they say education for all. If there's anything you can give anybody, it is. It is very important that everybody has the opportunity to go to school. PWDs shouldn't be left out for any reason. Hello, parents. Why are you hiding your child? Because the child is a person with disability. Or what is your excuse? That there's no money to pay the school fees? In Ibadan, we have School for the Handicapped, and of course, they've tried to duplicate it in most of the local government in Oyo State. You don't have a reason. Accessibility is not a problem. Now, aside from government, non-governmental organizations have also taken it upon themselves to give persons with disability, an opportunity to go to school. Today on Against All Odds, we're bringing all this to you. Don't go away. My name is Toshima Pius Ikeravi. We will be back very shortly. The national policy on education provides that education must be inclusive and that all children, including those with disabilities, have the right to qualitative, functional, and effective basic education. The Universal Basic Education Act of 2004 provides that basic education is free and compulsory for all school-age children. In order to create an inclusive society, government at various levels, non-governmental organizations, and individuals are providing basic education for people with disabilities for them to be adequately fit into the society. The School for the Handicapped in Ibadan is one of the many schools owned by the Oyo State government, and it was established in 1978. There are 3 clusters of disability in the School for the Handicapped: the visually impaired or blind, the hearing impaired deaf, and the intellectually challenged children.
The parents bring the children from different places, some from Lagos, some from Ogun State, different states. They bring their children here to come and learn in this very place. The government gave us different teaching aids. Like when you come to my office, you will get the television there, you will get the laptop, and you will get the braille machine, whereby these children are using. They use the braille machine to teach them. Then that of hearing impairment, we have the hearing aid. Some of the hearing aid is the government that provide the hearing aid for the children. And when they make use of it finish, we keep it back because we cannot give them to go home because it's for the use of the school.
As we all know, disability can be stigmatizing and perpetual false stereotypes where students with disabilities are not as capable as their peers. Therefore, all schools should be designed, constructed, equipped, staffed, administered, and managed in a disability inclusive and physically accessible manner.
Well, I don't really see any difference between them and the normal children. I personally, I have passion for teaching, even since when I was young. So whenever I'm teaching them, I am always fulfilled. I love teaching them. We have different methods of teaching them. We make use of playway method, demonstrative method, because there are some things until when you are able to show them, they won't get what you are trying to pass across to them. I enjoy teaching deaf children. It's a good job. Teaching is a good job. Simple to teach. Sign with sign. It's simple to teach them with sign language.
This is Against All Odds.
Apart from educational work, we also engage them in vocational activities, because we discover that many of them, maybe because of their parents, they may not be able to go beyond the primary school level. So we engage them in vocational activities, so that at the end of the day, if they are not able to further, they will have something that will be earning them money.
Children with disabilities are no low life to the community. They are ambitious and have future plans for themselves. because disability affects only one part of the body, while other parts are highly functional and able.
Paulo, I'm copper, I'm a fly, I'm a able.
I want to be a fashion designer. She wants to be a fashion designer in the future. Why do you want to be a fashion designer in the future? Why? To help deaf children. Okay, you want to be an electrical engineer.
I want to do a teacher. I want to flesh out my mother's house and car.
I want to be a shoemaker. Shoemaker in the future. To make fine shoe.
This is against all odds.
The Oyo State government does not only provide free accommodation, food and teaching aids for children with disabilities. The school also engages the students in vocational studies and therefore encouraging parents to let out their children with disabilities and not hide them at home.
They are ashamed of these children. They don't want people to associate them with these children, which is not good. They are begging the parents to please, anyone that is having these children at home, they should bring them out. We have the schools. We have different schools. The government have really made it so simple for us that every local government is having this special school. So the parents should go to local government that they belong to, that they should go and register these children, because these children will become something in life. They should not just say that because they are hearing impaired or visual impairment or intellectual challenge that they are not useful. They are 100% useful to the society.
They need people, they need love. So by showing them love, being around them, we play with one another. We are like caregiver to them. No matter what, they are still human beings that we need to cherish and to be among in the society.
We are saying that the society should not sympathize with these children. They should have empathy with them. You see, some go out there to beg, and the society, when they see them begging, they will pity them and they will start to give them money. Like some of our students, they give them money, we stop it, that they should not give them any money, that they should not sympathize, but they should have empathy with them. That is, they should train them in the society. And also we want the society to help us. When they see them, they should bring them to the school, not to just abandon them outside there, because they can learn. There is no one among them that cannot learn.
The deplorable state of the school calls for attention from all stakeholders. The school's environment, fences, classrooms and hostels need renovation.
We want the government to give us teachers. You see, we are talking about special teachers. Those teachers that can teach the children sign language, we need them in the school. And also, we need helpers, because some of these students that are IC, that is intellectual challenge, some of them, they poo-poo in their body. So if they should have a helper in the class, we see that the helper is the one that will now take the child to go and take care of them.
For us to achieve inclusive education in Nigeria with a global best educational practice and standard as to ensure that no child is out of school, irrespective of their disabilities, gender, and other social status, all stakeholders must come together to create public awareness on issues of inclusive education.
This is against all odds.
Inasmuch as the government is trying their best to ensure that there is education for all, we shouldn't just let the government do everything. Stakeholders should also come in. Now, talking about stakeholders is Sekinat. What has she been able to do this far? Let's see it. Bamileri Olabode is deaf, blind, and numb. Her father died when her mother gave birth to her, and her mother died years later. Initially, Pamilere could not walk until she went through a special therapy. Bamiji Waris is intellectually retarded and often living with his blind grandmother. He suffered various abuses from his immediate community. People gave him alcohol and cigarettes to smoke so that he can entertain them with his funny dance steps. These are two out of many that reside in the home of Network for Inclusion of People with Special Needs.
This is against all odds.
Network for Inclusion of People with Special Needs is a non-governmental organization, NGO, that influences people with disabilities through rehabilitation, vocational skills, sports, healthcare, counseling, education therapy, social skills, promoting inclusiveness, and it was founded by Hamid Sekinat Afolashade.
Person with disabilities, they have potentials, especially the growing up. So when this brilliancy is not nurtured from their childhood, when they grow up, it's very hard to do something about it. That's why some of them, all what they do is just learn shoemaking or beggar or become a beggar. But when you've nurtured them from start, it's always rare to see them go astray. Because when they see care and education, they always become something. So I'm like, if I should start from the childhood for them, so that when they become something, even when they don't remember me and they are good for themselves, that's the most important thing. So that rate of saying person with disability her low life will be reduced in our society.
Sekinat studied education for visual impaired social studies at the NCA level at Federal College of Education Special Oyo, and later banked her Bachelor of Education (B.Ed) degree in special education at the same college in affiliation with University of Ibadan. Her unrelenting passion of advocacy for inclusion of persons with disabilities, PWDs, in all areas of life was well recognized during her National Youth Service Corps in Delta State in 2018 through 2019. She was honored with Delta State Governing Board Award and NYSC Delta Secretariat Award.
I studied in a special school in Delta State. Those children in our school then, I noticed their brilliance, but because it's government school, the teachers are not ready to do. If they are taking good care of them, they follow up with their academics, they will be very, very brilliant. So I'm like, if I'm not like other schools are doing it, governments are doing it, what if, since there is no monitoring, are they doing it right? So if I'm doing it and I'm monitoring, I'm very sure it's going to come up with something good. That is my aim. That's why I'm doing this myself. Immediately I started, I wrote a lot of things about person with disability on social medias. I went to radio stations, television stations to talk about it. That if they have any child with disability and they don't know where to take them to, they can come to me then. So I will take them to school, to government schools myself. Spending a week with the child, I already know the disability and what the child will need to grow faster in this academic.
Network for Inclusion of People with Special Needs, led by Hamid Sekina, has over 30 persons with disability that is sponsoring their education.
There is one of my students here. Before he could eat, he will pour the food on the floor. He will start to eat from the floor. He won't eat from the plate. He will pour it on the floor before eating. So we have to rehab him. We do some mental counseling, daily living skill training. Now he's back to school. So in the morning, they to wake up after taking care of their needs, they bath, we give them their food. So we have we already get a transportation that we paid every week. We used to pay the person every week. The person will come and take them to school. So when you take them to school by 1, they'll be done in school. The person will bring them back home. So after bringing them back home, they will eat their lunch. So after that, then we'll have to check their assignments. They will do their assignments for a while. Then they will play. We'll give them time to have their own siesta. Anybody that wants to relax, they want to play. Then we'll start preparing for their dinner. So immediately prepare for their dinner. We'll serve them because we like them to eat on time so that the food will digest before they sleep. Having one person to sponsor these kids is not easy. It's not possible. So I have to write. I used to write letters to people. Some 5,000, 10,000. So all those stuff, gathering them together, I'm able to manage to take care of the kids. Although it's not enough, but it's still better than having nothing. So those kids have to eat 4 times in a day, apart from their biscuits and other cheese they take to school.
NIPSN has also touched the lives of widows by organizing vocational skills for them on different occasions. Sekinat also successfully organized the first para-sport event and competition in history of Oyo State, Nigeria.
For the adults, some are here, some are in secondary school. So those in secondary school, they only come home some weekends to spend weekends, or I go there to check up on them. So those that are here, they will just why they are here is because they want to do exam. Like I have 4 that want to do NECO. So they will just come. I have somebody that I'm paying. The person will come to do tutorial for them. After doing tutorial for them, ask them questions. They will ask questions. They will do, because they are visually impaired. So they will do braille practical. They will do typing. And when it's time for maybe because we do train them in sports too. We train them. We do blind football. So once in 2 times in a month, like somebody I used to pay, that the person will come train them on how to play blind football and home. That is what. When they are free, they bring ball out. They play themselves.
Hamid Sekinat is also an author. She has written 3 books, which all are published in both English language and Braille copies for perfect inclusion. The proceeds from the book and many others have been her source of finance for Network for Inclusion of People with Special Needs.
I sell my books to schools. So schools pay every time. Immediately I got the money, I buy food stuff first. These are the first thing I do buy with the money. Secondly, my students, I always train them. We train them in a lot of skills, like all these flower vase making, bag making, cream, Isa. So I pack them, I take them to offices. Also, my friends, my husband, and my family, they are always supportive. And also, Chief Engineer Dr. Sanusi, he has been so helpful too. For now, those I'm paying, they are just 2. Others are volunteers. And volunteers come when we need them.
Mrs. Oyenuga and Mrs. Abiodun are shop owners on the same street with Network for Inclusion of People with Special Needs Home. They talk about their neighbor.
Ẹ̀dá tọ́lọ̀ ń dà ní wọ́n. Ibi tí bó dẹ̀ ṣe wọ Ọlọ́run ló ṣe ń ṣe ọ̀lẹ. Bọ́n ṣe wà yẹn wọ́n nídìí help ní situation tán wà yẹn. Kan tẹ́mi ọ̀kan ọ̀rọ̀ ìjọba ni pé kán wá ọ̀nà láti lè help wọn ju bí wọ́n ṣe wà yìí lọ. Bóyá nípa ilé ni o, oúnjẹ tán máa jẹ, wọn kì í dé stop bíbà. Wọ́n máa ń ṣe tiwọn ni. Wọ́n èso ní jàgídíjàgan yẹn.
They need more helping hands to take care of them so that they can have proper care. That's just the only thing I noticed about. Then the only thing I would advise the parents is to take care of the children. Sometimes they still need motherly care. They should not relent. They should not give up. There's still hope for them. It's not their fault. It's not the fault of the parents either. I'm sure nobody wants to have such children as a child.
Disability is a dynamic and multidimensional public health issue of increasing importance. A deeper understanding of care providers are essential for planning and designing a support structure, including better nutrition, regular schooling, or simply a roof that doesn't leak.
She came for a teaching practice. So I met her then, but I never knew she was going to open somewhere like this for people that are having physical challenges. So one of our staff hit me up last year when I told I told her that I'm kind of out of school because I want to move out of that particular school because it's not conducive for me and even my other colleagues. My other colleagues have been trying to even come here because they face even more than I do.
It's just like God sent them to me. Because if I quickly know, I quickly see them, it will have been even better more than this. Because I enjoy many things from them. Since when I got there, they were feeding me. They even buy clothes for me.
Taking care of people with disability is not an easy task, and therefore one cannot do without encountering different challenges. The question is, how does Sekinat surmount her challenges every day?
The challenge is just feeding, because persons with disability, they need to eat. That's the most important thing, because especially persons with intellectual disability, those are hyperactive. If they don't eat, if they are hungry, you find it difficult to enjoy your life, because when they will be screaming. So there should always be food, and they should eat at the right time. The time they have to eat must not extend. Sometimes there won't be food to feed them. It has happened a couple of times, especially when I started. But my mom has been so helpful. Anytime something like that happens, I call her. Even although our place is very far, but she will know how to rush and come to our house. It has happened, but it's always, we always find a way or I call my friends, or there's one woman at Jokodi, where our office is. I can go and meet her. Ma, can you please borrow me so amount? So when I have, we'll return. Sometimes we borrow to fill them. This space is not conducive. We're just managing, because some are sleeping in the room, some are sleeping in the sitting room. Just 3-bedroom flats. But the accommodation challenge, my plan is, if I'm able to build at least 4 to 5 rooms on 1 acre of land that I have for these children. So when we have that 5 rooms, nobody will challenge us or say, okay, you have to leave this area, it's our land. And our other challenge is transportation. Because when the student is going to school, I wish you could see when they are going to school, they have to squeeze themselves into small bus that we could get, that we do pay every week to take them to school.
For effective inclusive education system in Nigeria, the special schools should serve the purpose of a resource center to support children with severe and multiple disabilities, provide capacity building and training to regular teachers, special educators, caregivers, medical practitioners, and support design and development of special adaptive instructional materials. Give a child an opportunity to go to school. You have taken one talk off the street. Imagine the story of Waris. Waris was someone who was actually just playing dummy for people out there. They give him drinks and cigarettes and he just becomes a fool for them. But today, education has changed his life. Give the child an opportunity to be educated and explore his or her world. Do not hide them. Thank you for staying with us on Against All Odds. Let's do this again. Next week, same time, same station. My name is Dushima Pius Ikeravi. Do have a fantastic week ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for that goodwill.
My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and pikin. Corona, no big pass us. We go fight time, we go win. As long as we remember to always do the right thing. Wash your hands, love each other, we go win. Oh. Corona, na the virus, we dey worry human being. E no get Lego, but e dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat am, we fit stop am if we maintain good hygiene and practice social distancing. We go win. Oh. No shaking hands with your neighbor. Blow them a kiss from afar. Use soap and water to wage war. Let's show this thing who we are. We are special, we're courageous, we are awesome human beings. We dey super, we get power, we can conquer anything. If we hear word and obey laws and exercise discipline. Wash your hands, love each other, we go we know. If it be like say you know well, like it's something they do you, and you feel say, you believe say, you get a seed they do you, and your body no grisogy, like it's something they do you. No let panic finish you, you go we know. Self-isolate for the sake of all the people that you love. Oh, don't go around spreading rumors, cause fake news won't help anyone. You are special, you're courageous, you're a caged human being. You too much, oh, you get power, you can conquer anything. Only if you hear word and obey laws and exercise discipline. Wash your hands, love one another, we go we know. My brother, my sister, papa, mama, and pikin. COVID-19, no big pass we go fight and we go win. Just as long as we remember to always do the right thing. Wash your hands, love each other, we go we know.
Nigeria Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority establishes new domestic base price for gas. 5G Network Nigeria Communications Commission approves second trial ahead of spectrum auction, and oil recoups losses from Friday, focusing on Omicron COVID variant spread. Plus, Business Express today takes a look at women entrepreneurship in Africa, opportunities and prospects. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar. Now let's begin with 5G network. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has approved a second trial of the fifth generation 5G technology in the country as the deadline for the submission of bids and initial bid deposits, IBDS, closes today at 5 p.m. The Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy says the Commission has slated December 13th, 2021 as the final auction date for the 3.5 gigahertz spectrum for the deployment of 5G technology in Nigeria, while deployment is expected to happen first quarter next year. It further says the Nigerian Communications Commission is to supervise the second 5G POC trial in Nigeria. This trial will be conducted by Airtel Networks Limited and its original equipment manufacturer on Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. The federal government is wooing more investors to take advantage of the country's agribusiness, urging farmers to see farming as a business venture. Musa Baba Aliu reports that the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, says more investment in the sector will significantly improve the standard of living of farmers in Nigeria.
Agriculture is now being acknowledged and promoted as a business and not a development program, away from the primordial perspective and able to sufficiently satisfy the socio-economic needs of its practitioners and grow the nation's economy. Our agenda is to guarantee the vibrancy of the sector. Agriculture must be seen as a business and haven for investment.
The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has warned quoted companies and capital market registrars to desist from selective payments and distribution of dividends. Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Lamido Yogoda, stated this at the 10th annual conference of the Institute of Capital Market Registrars in Lagos at the weekend, where he urged the ICMR to encourage its members to uphold the code of ethics of the profession as contained in the rules and regulations of the Commission or face sanction. The SEC DG also stressed the need for an optimal regulation of digital technology in the capital market, adding that the Commission had issued rules to regulate several technology-driven activities. In trade and trade-related investment deals. The figures from the latest tally released today by the IATF Advisory Council captured additional data submitted by trade promotion agencies of Algeria, Nigeria, and South Africa. The IATF, organized by African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank, the African Union, AU, and the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA Secretariat, saw $42.1 billion worth of trade and investment deals agreed during the event, which took place from 15 to 21st November in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. AITF 2021 thus surpassed its preset target of $40 billion in trade and investment deals, going well beyond the $32 billion in transactions closed at the first edition in Cairo, Egypt in 2018. Foreign portfolio investors have increased their participation in the Nigerian stock market by almost three-quarters as steady corporate earnings and improving foreign exchange liquidity continue to sustain rally by Nigerian equities. Latest trading data on portfolio investments in the Nigerian market shows remarkable increase in foreign transactions, strengthening the overall market to sustain a two-month rally. Total foreign transactions in the Nigerian equities market jumped by 74.2% in October, showing a significant recovery from a long-running deficit of inflows to outflows. The renewed foreign appetite for Nigerian equities further spurred domestic investors' participation, pushing the overall market transactions up by 80.3% from 118.15 billion naira in September 2021 to 213.07 billion naira in October 2021, the highest in 7 months. Now, levies by member states still account for about 70% of ECOWAS funds, a reason why the regional bloc is appealing to member countries to meet their financial obligations so that its activities can run smoothly. Kelvin Opunaye reports that at a meeting of the ECOWAS Administration and Finance Committee in Abuja, the body pledged improved support to member countries post-COVID-19 recovery in 2022.
The current management has done all the work for establishing the right legal regulatory frameworks and procedures for our community institutions.
Our private sector is becoming more engaged and is receiving significant support in advancing economic development and integration for our region, especially in the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA.
Well, our discussion will focus on women participation in trade as a driver for economic growth, which is critical to economic development and recovery. Joining me is local content manager, 50 Million African Women Speak platform, Dr. Ajibike Saritu. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you.
Well, the third quarter GDP growth shows a growth of 4.03%. In your own view, how do you see the participation of women in contributing to that success?
I would like to say that for that growth, looking at women participating with almost 70% of it, because we make up the informal sector. Okay. We make up the trade sector. We are the ones that are in the market. They are the ones that are the farmers. They are the ones at the petty trade. And these are massive contributions that women give to trade in particular.
Okay, 50 million women as a network connecting women entrepreneurs around Africa. How are they taking advantage of the export market?
We've been doing lots of capacity building, and we've been participating in all the sensitization process that AFTA has been putting together. In fact, some of our women were at Durban for the IATF conference that just ended. And basically, the challenge has been that because lots of women entrepreneurs are not totally structured and they don't have the documentation that is expected. But so far, 50 million we've been able to add some value by having capacity building and ensuring that we expose them to the need to have this documentation. And we've also, for the trade fair that is coming up, we are invited NEPC so that they can also help prepare them to be part of export. We don't want them to be doing the usual way they do exports in just small bits, whereby they put their goods to add to other agents, so they are not being seen. Rather, they are seeing those agents, but we need the women to come up and begin to play in the bigger league in export. Okay, can you take us through the progress made by the 50 Million Women project? Okay, so far we turned 2 on the 26th of November. That's 2 years now that the project has been in existence. And so far we've had remarkable impact, I must say. We've had lots of capacity building. We have lots of skill trainings that, in fact, we have some women that we taught how to make yogurt, and they've started producing. Some have even had their NAFDAC number. We have those that have started learning how to make rugs, all these Persian rugs, and some of them have started selling it. We also taught them digital skills, how to make your logos instead of patronizing the people out there and then you are spending more money. So now some of them can actually design their logos. We've been able to add lots of packages, easy access to financial information and also access to funding, particularly by working with some commercial banks that have helped us to get some affordable rates for the women, because that's very critical for them. And so far, and also they were part of the Survival Fund beneficiaries. We had some that had the NEPC grant beneficiaries. In fact, we had some that had some grants. Some people won some of the grants, and all these were information that we displayed on our platform, and we are still collaborating more with other ministries.
Okay, what part is the Africa Development part playing in this? I know that it's, I think it started the
It's
whole
an
project,
initiative of the African Development. Their part is they created a platform. The platform is www.womenconnect.org. On that platform, I like to call it our own, in quotes, Facebook, because there you are, the goal is to have 50 million women on that platform. And I see a bigger picture that if we can actually aggregate and have 50 million women on that platform, that's enough market for us. That means you go to that platform, you upload what you do. It's a digital space. You go there, you upload what you do, and then people get to view. And we also have investors from other countries on that platform. And that's why we've been doing lots of sensitization, because we need the Nigerian women, the African women to come on that platform and interact together. That's enough market space for us. We have 50 million viewing whatever you post at once. That's enough market space. So what the African Development Bank did is they created that platform, and it's been managed in COMESA. The database, everything is being done. That's their own contribution to the project.
Okay. How many, so far, how many members can you boast of in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, at least we have, on the platform presently, we have about 60,000 women on that platform. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How positioned are you as a group towards taking advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement?
Like I said, we've attended several trainings, and we are still attending. So we are really getting ready, and we are positioned for it. That's why we are doing lots of capacity building, and that's what is even betting the continuity of the trade fair, because we know when we prepare ourselves, we get to know the policies that are involved, because if you don't have information, you cannot be positioned. And so far what we've been doing is the sensitization, because they need to know, oh, what's the African free trade policy about? Okay, where can I be a part of it? What can I be, what can I bring to it myself as a trader or as a woman? And right now we're getting positioned by getting the information that we need, grabbing the information that we need, and getting ready with the proper structures.
Okay, what about those who are interested to join that group? So what do they need to
What they need to do is just go to www.womenconnect.org, and you just upload your details. There's some verification codes that will be sent to your email, and then you can also be a part of it on WhatsApp by chatting our numbers, 08085064937. If you just send your name and your state of residence, because we are across the 36 states with FCT, when you indicate your state of residence, they will add you up there on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, about the trade fair, tell us about it. Are you going to be showcasing Nigerian goods or other goods from outside the country?
Well, you know, we have mixed multitude, I must say. You have those that are made in Nigeria, and then you have those that are importers. So we're going to cut across everyone. We're not leaving anybody behind. And the trade fair, this is our second edition. It was launched last year. We had it December 5th and 6th last year, but this time around we're having it on the 1st to the 4th of December. There were the complaint that 2 days was too small. You know, by the time people came and they saw the massive discounts, they wanted to come back, and we were already packing. So this year we decided to have it for 4 days. These are also part of the preparation to be prepared for the after opportunities that is ongoing. And we're trying to also train and educate the women on how to exhibit. You know, we don't just want them to come. Usually you see people go to trade fair and they just exhibit, they put their things on the floor and all of that, but there are proper standard of ways of exhibition. So those are one of the purposes why we put the trade fair together. And also, for me, I like to tell people that trade fair is not just about what you come and you sell. It's about the network you make. You might actually come to a fair and you don't really make sales, but the kind of networks you're going to go with, they are going to come after you, and you are going to be cashing out. Like last year, we had some people that, in fact, their testimonies has been that since the fair, the client base they've made has increased, which is the whole essence of trade fair. Yes, you are there to make sales. At the same time, you are there to make networks of new buyers and clientele. So we're going to have people with made in Nigerian products. We have those with organic products. We have those that are coming with the foreign products. And then we have those that are coming with agro-commodity. Okay. Yes.
What about in terms of collaboration? Private or public collaboration?
We have both. We are collaborating with all the MDAs. They've been invited because one of the MDAs that we are really coming up with is NAFDAC and trademark, because we see that a lot of our women are having challenges in that area. So we are collaborating with NAFDAC, trademark. We're also collaborating with CAC, and then for private collaborations, we are also open to it. And one of the collaborations is what we are having with NTA anyway.
Okay. Okay. Now, what advice do you have, before I let you go, what advice do you have for women looking at the COVID-19, how it has impeded so many things?
Okay, my advice for women will say that we need to stay strong and stay focused. Stay strong and stay focused.
What about those that are not involved in any, buy and sell or things like that?
Maybe they are in the office where everybody stay focused and stay strong, and it's going to get better. And we need to be prepared. Like I like to say that preparation meets opportunity. When you are not ready, when the opportunity comes, you might not be able to grab it. So get prepared and be ready so that when the opportunity comes, you grab. And I like to say finally that we're going to have massive discounts. So we want to use the opportunity to tell Abuja, it's Christmas season, and you want to shop discount, you need to be at the International Pink Fair.
Okay. Thank you very much. Content Manager, 50 Million African Women Speak Platform, Dr. Ajibike Saritu.
Thank you.
Now moving on, oil prices rose on Monday, recouping some losses after Friday's plunge of about $10 a barrel as investors look for bargains but remain cautious with the focus on the Omicron coronavirus variant and Iran nuclear deal negotiations. Brent crude futures climbed $3 to $75.77 a barrel after falling $9.50 on Friday. Oil prices crashed together with other financial markets on Friday by more than 10%, the largest one-day drop since April 2020, as the new variant spooked investors and added to concerns that a supply surplus could swell in the first quarter. The Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NIT, says a total of $3 billion have been recovered from underpayments from companies in the extractive sector to government in the past 20 years, from 1999 to 2019. Executive Secretary of NIT, OJ disclosed this in Abuja during the inaugural meeting of the Communications and Civil Society Committee and presentation of the 2019 Oil, Gas and Mining Report. OJ said the agency will intensify efforts to ensure Nigeria's resources works for Nigerians, adding that NIT was building partnership with relevant government agencies to ensure efficiency in the transparency sector.
And we have established a platform and a framework now to expand our monitoring system of illegal mining activities and illegal bunkering across the country as part of our mandate. The details of that procedure is being worked out.
Now, a trip to the commodities market is next. On the global scene, Asia's stocks fell Monday as European stocks struggled to stay afloat as investors watch Omicron COVID-19 variant. And Ekauko has more on the markets.
Hello and welcome to the global market segment. Major markets in Asia largely fell on Monday as investors continue to monitor developments surrounding the recently discovered Omicron COVID variant. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index slipped 0.95% to close at 23,852.24. The Shanghai Composite in mainland China also dropped 0.04%, while in Japan, the Nikkei 225 dropped 1.63% to close at 28,283.92 basis points. European stocks started the new trading week higher despite extensive concerns over the newly discovered Omicron COVID variant. All sectors traded in positive territory, with stocks looking to rebound from Friday's sell-off. Germany's DAX added 0.68% in early trade, London's FTSE topped 0.93%, and CAC 40 of France gained 0.68%. In the US, stocks moved higher in early trading following Friday's big sell-off. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 122 points, S&P 500 0.59%, and Nasdaq 100 0.84%. Meanwhile, African markets traded mixed as the continent joins the rest of the world in searching for direction following the discovery of the new coronavirus variant. In South Africa, where Omicron was first detected, officials say the new variant appears to be more transmissible than its predecessors, although most cases have been mild so far. And that's Global Market. I am Neka Uko.
Thank you, Neka. The Nigerian stock market failed to sustain the slow rise recorded Friday in Monday's session. The all-share index dropped to 43,270.94 points, while the equities capitalization settled at 22.578 trillion naira. 208 million shares were traded in the day, value at 2.3 billion naira in 4,036 deals. The financial services sector dominated trade to see FCMB and Zenith Bank dominating trade in terms of volume. Well, this is where we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Business Express returns Tuesday by 9:30 a.m. I am Musa Abubakar saying stay safe.
NTA, you can't beat the reach.
For every citizen to join in the fight against corruption. And EFCC is saying, contribute your quota in the fight against economic and financial crimes, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, and no matter the language you speak. Join the EFCC and stand for the right thing. Always enjoy.
Moki onílé, moki àlejò, pàápàá jùlọ gbogbo ọmọ Odùduwà káàárọ̀ oòjíire. Nílé lóko, lálejò àti lẹ́yìn odi. Pé ẹ kú àsìkò yìí. Mo fi àsìkò yìí pé àkíyèsí wa sí ìwà àjẹgúdújẹrá tí a mọ̀ sí corruption ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì. Pé ó lòdì sí òfin orílẹ̀-èdè àti ìtẹ̀síwájú orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà. Igi kan kò lè dágbó ṣe. Ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ wa ló lè tan ìmọ́lẹ̀ sí ìwà àjẹgúdújẹrá ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa.
Domin samun ingantacciyar ilimi, hanyoyi masu kyau da nagartacciyar asibiti, mu haɗa hannu da ƙarfe, mu yaƙi cin hanci da rashawa da yi wa tattalin arzikin ƙasa zagon ƙasa.
Igbo, kwano, rieno, mono, ekele mono, ndụ mmiri ndụ azụ, ekelecha mụ ma jụọ ajụjụ. Uwe oke iri ahụhụ ole mgbe ji agwụ ewo. Uwe oke iri ọnụma ole mgbe ji agwụ ewo. Ọkwanụ mmadụ ka na-arịa. Onye ahụ enyere ego ya ga-arụọ ụlọ, ya rụọ ụlọ mkpuke. Ọkwanụ ahụ ka anyị na-arịa. Onye enyere ego ya rụọ ụzọ, ya rụọ ụzọ ebe ndagburugwu nke onyinye ọnwụ. Onye ahụ ka anyị na-arịa ugbu a. Ọ bụ ya ka a kpọrọ mpụ na aghụghọ. A na-akpọ ya corruption n'aha bekee. Gịnịkwanụ ji anyị ugbu a? Ọ mmadụ fọmfoju akpa na oke ego a na-achọ n'akpa. Onye nwa ji anyị ugbu a. Anyị na-asị kwụsịnụ mpụ na aghụghọ tụmadụ nke gbasara ego. Mụnwa ekpebiela m na onweghị ihe jikọrọ mụ na mpụ na aghụghọ n'obodo a. Mụ na ya enweghị ihe jikọrọ mụ na ya.
Du ki biene abiko ke moko ki machoko en ke mujin uro kola miedo kakini uje bai enwe bienen ololo shoko eji
biedo nuzomo biedo nahire awe medan igbo no kan narioba kebiga kina dobevo oruso noze mana mi alawo dawo owebe owisinegbe ya upo na la eyari yeyeke igbama òpè àkókò náà la ọ.
Àìní ẹ̀nọ́nyá láìní ẹ̀nọ́nyí lọ àìnyá là ó. Ìjọ lé wàjẹ́ kálọ̀ yẹn kú bíà ẹ́ ó lọ lẹ́wà tálà lọ kó gbọ́ tó yọlẹ̀ ìlànà gẹ̀ abálọ́gá ayẹlẹ̀ nálọ́gá ayẹlẹ̀ kálọ̀ yẹn alẹ́ àmì.
Òròbò wà dó ìsoko wà dó ùdú wà dó ugele wà dó mẹ̀mọ́ mọ̀ wá. Ni moto ọbụ ego n'ọbụ nwa ụtọ na mmiri na onye esi ebo oyibo ni corruption and corruption ụra anyị na yo ma bedi bede oyo ma jem corruption na igo gọọmenti ka mgbu ki kwụọ anwarị ụkwụ na ka mgbu na ya wọọ ụra ọfa Igo was supposed to work Bugede, be school, Kama, Omaware.
So, Tiam Tifchi. Aka Yanganim Zeheme, Utawasi, Ka Anye, Quachu, Manafele, Shakonya. Uhembaya, Kamba, Winjai Don, Henegumeyo, Kase Manon Sopa. Aka Nechi Nayo, Igbinda, Ayochi, Imiakanta, Manakava Nam Zeheme. Ban hita wasi simba kanse defe mananza abune ngise ifase na handa
ukanyen ekomdo mfun nyini mi da ida ite ya nyini wan ekon iba corruption ya nyini yene etiu son etiu fonwe etiu upempo nyini na kpukuru nyini na ida i wan ekon iba corruption afodagada kpukuru Nigerian te ida e wan ekon corruption
Dani brama konin tangwa onin aye tina huboro oisiete atebulu ozo eme ozo ma hiti ni yuyi ye manyo voto
bandiraɓe am fulɓe heɗitotoɓe taskaram ka ko larani haala mosle ceede malla jawle ɗum yolli en ha nder ɓillaji ko ɗuuɗi ko larani haala soyde hiite lantarki soyde laabi soyde janguille soyde asibitiji malla ñawdolle ko hani gaɗen bandiraɓe fulɓe kawten hoore ngam bo yigo en koni haala mosle ceede.
My people, una well done. How na dey? I gave a tori for una. This tori, it dey worry me, it dey worry you. Na the nyama, the wuru, the magu, what we dey call corruption, where they kill us for this country. Because of corruption, we no get better road. Because of corruption, our hospital don't pafuka. Because of corruption, our light na 0/100. That's now why I say make we come together, make we fight this nyama, wuru, magu, what they call corruption.
Economic and financial crimes constitute a major impediment to the economic growth and development of our dear country, Nigeria. Its devastating effect is evident on our bad roads, dilapidated hospitals, poor educational infrastructures, just to mention but a few. But if only we can come together, we will be able to defeat this common enemy.
Uro kolamiedo, kakin na jek ba enwe bienedun, ololo che du kinoche bojeji.
Meva do bere yo inu waise. Oi do la man atoi mozare.
Aloko hai. Mela gómìnà kaje kalunya. Aloko nunu. Toda dudu le pẹ̀lú ji. Memle li jole kajenya. No chela no liola gbo. No chela no le bole olema. Oya kajenya ko le je gokula lo. Ko le ko le hai lo. Ko yo kai ko la lo ko chi. Ko le lo yi. Anya la o.
Bana goyon bayan cin hanci da rashawa da yi wa tattalin arziki zagon ƙasa.
Jaki ma ba usunoka we Maririo boye ogbeu keve awe medan.
Moyo mvenda chu ma fie shakwonya.
Ana m akwụsị ike na ọgụ a na-alụ megide mpụ na aghụghọ tụmadụ nke gbasara ego n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria.
Mo dúró lòdì sí ìwà jẹgúdújẹrá.
Kó mẹ́mẹ́, bí mọ́ mẹ́, báyé mẹ́, àwọn arìnrìn-tánẹ́, corruption nana, pẹ̀dípẹ̀dẹ̀, àwọn kan wà bọ̀ ìbúrọ̀ yìí, fìkídìí mọ̀, àwọn arìnrìn-gbọ̀n náà tọ́ wúrògbò nana, ọmọ kò bá rò, isi agwari, mingo.
Emi holla ngayingu dow ko larani aybeji ceede malla jawle.
Ami, madanda, ndi wane kong ban wibi no, uboy dem, ifonke.
That's now why me I tanda gidigba to fight any wuru, magu, nyama, where they happen for this Obodo Naija.
Today, I have resolved that I will stand against economic and financial crimes.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Yes, we all stand against economic and financial crimes, and you heard all Nigerians calling and reiterating their commitment in this fight. We want you to own the fight. We want you to be the foot soldiers in this crusade against economic and financial crimes. Yes, together we make Nigeria a better place. Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of economic and financial crimes, including corruption. Nigeria is the only country we have, and all hands must be on deck to salvage it. We kick off today's program with a call made by the Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdurrashid Bawa, for the youths to collaborate with the Commission in the fight against economic and financial crimes. Bawa made the call when law students of Bayes University, Abuja, visited the Commission. In the same vein, the Secretary to the Commission, Judge Agban Ekungu, advocated that Nigerian youths should embrace discipline and integrity as a way of life. This charge was given when students of Economics Department, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University, Lapai in Niger State, visited the Commission on a study tour. Abbas Abubakar Umar has the details on the tour.
Abdurrashid Ba commended the student from Bayes University for choosing EFCC as preferred agency for their educational tour. He spoke through the Director of Public Affairs Department of the Commission, Osita Nwaja, and stressed the need for the student support towards a corrupt-free Nigeria and the development of the country.
The EFCC, the work that we do here is very essential to the development of the nation. We count on you, our very talented young men and women, to help us, give us your support, make the work that we do here count, because everything comes back to what we are doing, what we are giving to the society, how we are going to help the Nigerian state to get out of this cyclical developmental process. We're just going around, and there's very little movement forward because we are bogged down a whole lot by the issues of corruption, the issues of economic and financial crimes, which the Commission was set up to deal with.
Also speaking on the role of lawyers in the fight against corruption and financial crimes in Nigeria, Ata M. Ocholi observed that corruption weakens institutions and the economy. He also noted that the fight against corruption starts from the individual and urged the law students to be of good conscience and avoid doing evil.
Your role as a legal practitioner, 2, 1, it starts with you. Make up your mind, I will not engage in corruption. I will not engage in money laundering. Did I define money laundering? I'm sorry. Money laundering is giving bad money a good name. Simply put, giving bad money a good name. This money is a product of unlawful activity. But how do I paint it and make it look good?
Speaking on the role of lawyers in combating cybercrimes, Chief Superintendent of the EFCC, Nwaka Daniel, called on the student to shun cybercrime because it is damaging the reputation of the country. He stated that Nigerians home and abroad are paying the price for cybercrime because of the dent Yahoo boys have inflicted on the reputation of the country.
So, we're talking about cybercrimes. What is cybercrimes? Cybercrimes can simply be defined as any crime using a computer device. But the Cambridge Dictionary, because we're lawyers, so let me go the highway. It says a crime or illegal activity is done using the internet. Anything that you do negatively using the internet is a cybercrime. So what are the effects of cybercrimes? Loss of intellectual reputation. It's so embarrassing. Most times when you travel out and bring out your green passport. Sometimes when you just see you holding your green passport and walking, the next one airport official comes to meet you. Sorry, sir, you've been singled out for a search. Or just gonna look at you. You're Nigerian. Is that reputation has stained you?
The students who expressed gratitude for the warm reception accorded them were presented with the Commission's publications as mementos. Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle. The Secretary of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, George Abanga Pungu, has charged Nigerian youths to embrace discipline and integrity as a way of life. Ekpungu gave the charge when students of the Economics Department, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University, Lapai, visited the headquarters of the Commission in Jabi, Abuja on an educational tour. Ekpungu said lack of self-discipline and integrity are the major problems bedeviling Nigeria as a nation and urged the youths as future leaders of the nation to inculcate the good habits of discipline and integrity as a way of life. He informed the students that the Commission is working tirelessly in the recovery of stolen assets and blocking leakages in government agencies across the country.
I welcome you back here to EFCC, and I wish you, internalize whatever they have told you people. Because, to become what you want to be, the first and most important thing in your life is self-discipline. You have to be able to discipline yourself. The easiest thing to do is to get carried away. And I think that is part of the problem we have with corruption and abuse of power.
Ekpungu also charged the students to use the user-friendly application Eagle Eye in reporting cases of fraud and corruption. In the same vein, Head Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit of the Commission, Aisha Muhammad, charged the student to imbibe the values of hard work, excellence, and integrity, as there are no shortcuts to success. She admonished them to be good ambassadors of the EFCC by showing good example in character and to expose any acts that fail the simple test of integrity. Speaking on cybercrime and its adverse effect on the Nigerian economy, Chief Superintendent of the EFCC, Nwaka Daniel, advised the students to shun all forms of cybercrimes and criminality, stressing that the activities of cyber criminals is ruining the good reputation of Nigeria and causing its good citizens their jobs, money, and goodwill.
Hacking, we all know that one now. Get into a system, scatter it for your own personal gain, either for financial reasons or just to show them that you can. Obtaining under false pretense. Oyibo woman, I'm in love with you. She will tell you she's in love with you too. If it's not you, I cannot sleep, I cannot breathe, I cannot die. Meanwhile, you have a wife and 3 children at home. You tell her, I'm single, I'm a U.S. military officer serving in Afghanistan. They shot me in the leg and I need $1,000 to go for operation. The innocent woman will think that she's chatting with a real military officer. Send it the $1,000. You say, Mark, down for. You guys go clubbing. And our woman will follow him and be chopping the money. Not knowing that they are all guilty of obtaining under false pretense. Cyber terrorism. Oh, the EFCC. They have some confidential information. Let me try my color. You tap. If you can, you get into the EFCC website or into the EFCC systems. You pick up sensitive information and sell it. Cyber terrorism. Cyber squatting. The EFCC's logo. You copy it. You can open your own EFCC website. Our own is efcc.org.ng. You can put EFCC F1 or EFFCC. Open your own website. Start collecting money from people. I can investigate your case for you. All you need to do is pay 200,000 naira. It happens. I deal with it every day.
Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle.
The Enugu command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC has secured the conviction of 18 internet fraudsters before the Federal High Court Enugu in separate judgment. They were all convicted on one count charge of impersonation and obtaining by false pretense. Here are details of this conviction and another conviction report.
The convicts are Mba Rocks, Nzube Arinze and Oshude Ebube Sunday. Others are Kingsley Onyeoji Chukwuemeka, Nwoke Arinze Daniel, Nwobodo Emmanuel, Chukwuemeka Emmanuel Ojara, Osinachi Charles Chinaza, Ezediegu Innocent, Chima Bright Ojara, Onochi John Paul Arinze, Ude Ifanyi and Chisom Onwora. The rest are Mark Anthony Ijezie Chibuke, Ali Chibere Shedrag, Obinna William, Chukwu Jeku Michael Namdi, Nwokike Arenze Daniel, and Johnson Chima Madueke. 5 were convicted on Tuesday, November 16, 2021, and 3 on Thursday, November 18, 2021, before Justice F.O.G. Ogubanjo, while 10 convictions were secured before Justice I.M. Buba on Wednesday, November 17, 2021. Justice Ogubanjo sentenced 8 of the defendants to 2 years imprisonment with an option of 1 million naira fine, while Justice Buba sentenced 10 others to 1 year imprisonment with an option of 1 million naira fine. All the convicts are to forfeit their mobile phones to the federal government. Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle. Similarly, the EFCC Ibadan Zonal Command has secured the conviction of 7 internet fraudsters before Justice Uche Agomo of the Federal High Court sitting in Ibadan, Oyo State. The convicts are Williams Ikechukwu Williams, Aizoba Opeyemi Stephen, Damilare Godwin Oshore, Basit Oladeji Bamidele, Babajide Oluwapelumi Bolaji, Abayomi Stephen Aderohumu, and Oladokun Tobi Oladimeji. They were all convicted after pleading guilty to one count separate charge of fraudulently impersonating some foreigners, contrary to Section 22, subsection 2(bi) and punishable under Section 22, subsection 2(b) of the Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015. Justice Agomo's sentence as Naira 52 kobo domiciled in his Wema Bank account and 4,860 Naira 54 kobo domiciled in his Polaris Bank account as restitution to his victim, Davida Henderson. Aizoba was ordered to restitute his victim, Janeda Thea, the sum of 1,000 United States dollars. Williams and Bassett were ordered to return the sum of 1,600 United States dollars and 880 United States dollars as restitution to their victims through the federal government. Abbas Abubakar Umar reporting for the Eagle.
You will agree with me that a lot needs to be done to salvage our youth. They are our future, and as rightly stated by an Indian scientist and politician, APJ Abdul Kalam, who says, and I quote, "If a country is to be corruption-free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are 3 key societal members who can make a difference. They are the father, the mother, and the teacher. So please, this is a plea for everyone to join in making Nigeria a better place. This is a call to duty. Let us all join hands to make Nigeria great again." Investing your resources today for a better tomorrow is what everyone prays for. But as you do, the EFCC want to sound this note of caution. Be careful whom you give your money to invest for you. This is a scam alert. Scammers are on the loose in every part of the country in these hard times. Every day, men and women are defrauded by those they trust, who use all forms of devious means in the name of investing platforms. Be careful what type of investment scheme you subscribe to. And if you have fallen into the hands of any investment scammer or suspect anyone of involving in investment scam, please report to the EFCC immediately. And that's how we end today's episode of The Eagle. Do not forget, for matters relating to economic and financial crimes, please send an email to info@efcc.gov.ng. And to speak to our officers or representatives, you can call 0809 3322 644 and follow us on all our social media platforms @official EFCC. If you see fraud happening, use the EFCC mobile app, The Eagle Eye. Download the app, follow the steps, and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices and upload them. My name is Aisha Mohammed. Don't forget, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Do the right thing. Goodbye, and may God bless Nigerian always. Please stay safe and be kind to one another.
There's just something about speed and simplicity, but that speed and simplicity can be deceiving when you get behind the wheel. 30-year-old Emily sent this text message to her husband: "I love you and I'll try to make you happy." Moments later, Emily was killed when her car slammed into the back of a tractor trailer. 18-year-old Midi was also texting when his car slammed into the back of a truck at 80 miles per hour. His final text was,
"Driving and Facebooking is not safe. Ha ha."
You probably think that this thing can happen to you. You are not alone. 55% of young adult drivers say that it is easy to text and drive. 3/4 of the same young adults feel that they are really good texting behind the wheels. Reality is, they are all delusional. That quick look at your phone takes longer than you think. 5 seconds are really long. Imagine you're driving on the road and someone suddenly covers your face for 5 quick seconds, like this. You will probably feel very lucky if you didn't crash. But you chose to take your sight off the road just like that anytime you're sending or reading a text. Texting and driving is fast becoming the leading cause of teens' death on the road world over, surpassing even drinking and driving. But if you think dying in a car crash is the worst thing that happened to you, I tell you it is not. You can survive after you've killed someone else. Imagine spending the rest of your life knowing you killed someone just because of a text message. Now imagine going to jail just because of text message. Still think it will never happen to you? Still think you're the special one? There are so many that have been found guilty of texting while driving. But you can make a difference, just like so many young people have vowed not to text and drive. Leave your cell phone alone while driving. If you must send a text message, pull off the road into a parking lot or anywhere that is safe. No text is so important that it should cost your life or the life of someone else. You are not different. You are not special. You're just another accident waiting to happen if you do not desist from texting and driving. So, don't text and drive.
Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. And we start right away by heading to Jos to join Felicia. I'm sure you want to get an update on the recent attack at the Jos Correctional Center. So Felicia, take it from there.
Of Jos North Local Government Area, Shehu Bala Usman, is calling on security agencies to redouble efforts in ensuring adequate protection of lives and national assets. He stated this while reacting to the attack on Jos Custodial Center by gunmen. Ekemeren Kaneng Ladoja reports.
The correctional center was under attack by gunmen Sunday evening. Upon receipt of the report, the Commissioner of Police Plateau State Command, Bartolomeo Onyeka, led a reinforcement to the scene and directed that the entire center be cordoned off. After a gun duel with the attackers, the police commissioner directed a stop and search where 7 of the escapees were rearrested and 1 voluntarily surrendered himself. As a result of the prompt response, the situation was brought under control by the superior gunfire of security agencies.
Very unfortunate. I think that it's called for an immediate investigation because so many records have been, have been destroyed, and I am optimistic that His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, will, among his wisdom, constitute a very powerful investigative committee to actually foresee and why these things happen, and also to curtail the future occurrences of not only at the correctional center but also other public property.
Meanwhile, the Jos Correctional Center has recovered 7 corpses, but it's not clear if the bodies are those of the attackers or inmates. In Jos, Ekemeren Kaneng Laduja, NTA News.
Training of personnel is required to build capacity towards excellent performance. Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Ibrahim Ali, stated this in a message to a security workshop in Jos. Abba Abubakar Yakubu reports.
Peace is a prerequisite for development. As such, Operation Safe Haven has embarked on several strategies and means of bringing lasting peace on the plateau. One of the ways of achieving excellence or perfection is training of personnel to cope with modern crimes. As participants gathered here are being trained on human rights law to reposition them on the way forward.
It is my belief that the lecture will help reduce the chances of friction from this interaction with the local populace and also help to promote adherence to international and domestic laws regulating military operations.
Resource persons dwell on how to manage conflict and reducing casualty during crisis.
The way we do with the prisoners of war, how to treat them, and the way we apply knowledge during interrogation, what to do and what not to do. So that is what I've learned so far.
So the 3 principles that will guide them while they are operating in the Northeast are the principle of distinction, where they are required at all times to make a distinction between combatants and the military objective on one hand, and then civilians and civilian property on the other hand.
The training also addressed ways of reducing sexual violence and access to health care. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
And that will be it from Jos. Ruth is back to you in Abuja.
Thank you, Felicia. Land and Air Components troops of Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai have killed several Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorists in an encounter at Forward Operating Base, Gajiram Ngaze local government area of Borno State. A statement by the spokesperson of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Onyema Uachuku, says troops of Sector 3 Operation Hadinkai, supported by the Nigerian Air Force component, engaged the terrorists with superior firepower while attempting to infiltrate the Forward Operating Base. While exploiting the withdrawal route of the fleeing terrorists, 10 AK-47 rifles, 1 anti-aircraft gun, 1 Shilka barrel, 1 60mm mortar tube, among other ammunitions, were recovered. However, 2 soldiers paid the supreme price during the encounter. Nigeria is set to host the virtual Sea Power for Africa Symposium at the Naval Headquarters, which will focus on formulating a structure for effective ocean governance between naval forces of 33 African countries. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani will tell us all about it.
Nigeria is taking the lead as a maritime power by hosting the Sea Power Summit, where it will, among other issues, highlight the achievements of reducing piracy in the Gulf of Guinea by 77%.
Permit me to reiterate that the primary objective of the Sea Power Africa Symposium is to promote the integration of Africa's maritime security surveillance structures in the context of a sustainable blue economy based on a common understanding of the dynamics of maritime security threats in Africa.
The virtual symposium is expected to focus on ways of boosting regional naval capability through collaboration.
Share and collect experiences from current models in countries with successful track records of implementation of different blue economy areas and the work of organizations with strategies and programs in these areas.
300 naval staff and coast guards across 33 African countries and the United States, Portugal, Denmark and 3 other countries are expected to attend the virtual summit hosted by the Nigerian Navy. The objective is to chart a new course in tackling the continent's maritime challenges. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
A businesswoman heading to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia for Umrah Lesser Hajj has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for ingesting 80 pellets of cocaine. The 46-year-old suspect was arrested on Wednesday, 24th November, at the boarding screening area of the airport during an outward clearance of Qatar Airways flight and was subsequently taken into custody. Another suspected trafficker was arrested with 101 wraps of heroin weighing 1.3 kilograms at Gate C departure hall of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, on his way to Italy via Istanbul on Turkish Airlines. The drugs were concealed inside cassava flour, popularly called gari. Meanwhile, an abandoned consignment of cat weighing 17.90 kg was discovered at the narco shed of the airport. Let's make another stop, this time around Lagos. Adeola is set to bring us the stories from there.
Thank you, Ruth. Chidinma's trial was stalled at the commencement of hearing at the Lagos High Court sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square because the prosecution witness was not composed to give his testimony.
At the resumed hearing, the case prosecution counsel asked the court to adjourn the trial to November 30th on the ground that its witness just arrived at the court from Asaba, knowing that the witness could not be composed to give his testimony. The first defendant's counsel did not object to the application of the prosecution counsel, while the second defendant's counsel said he would not also object to the prosecution, but asked if the prosecution counsel did not have any other witness. Counsel to the third defendant told the court that he would oblige the prosecution's counsel adjournment in the interest of justice. At the instance of the prosecution counsel, Justice Yetunde Adesanya then adjourned the case till 30th of November for the continuation of the trial. In Lagos, Kehinde Adebisi, NTA News.
Victims of the fire outbreak, which affected a 3-story building and furniture workshop at Fataya Tere of Ladipo Market, are counting their losses. Hengino John Adams reports that the fire has been put off by emergency responders and no life was lost.
These electric cables are alleged to be the source of the spark that led to the fire outbreak, which claimed property worth millions of naira.
Investigation revealed that there was a kind of rearrangement on electrical wiring within Shotiloye Street, transferring the electrical cable from one pole to another. In the course of doing that, then there was a mistake.
Oluwabusui Kotila owns a furniture workshop which was completely razed by the inferno.
There's a lot of work already finished, already lied on it. Even though some of them, they are bringing the vehicle come from Abuja, come and pick the work.
Eyewitnesses say the fire traveled from the source of the spark, a pole in front of a building under construction, to the furniture workshop, then to this 3-story building. The 3-story building is said to be a warehouse where assorted automobile spare parts were stored.
The fortification, security fortification of the building was just too much. Accessing it by fire itself was easier than firefighters accessing it.
As Oluwabusui watched remnants of all he has gathered for years disappear with the smoke, He and other victims are hoping that help will come their way. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
It's time for us to take a break. When we return, Ruth in Abuja will continue with Nationwide. Good afternoon.
It's another season of Caros.
Radio Nigeria, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria invite you to their annual service of 9 lessons and carols.
Theme: Peace, Be Still.
Come and enjoy the ministrations of Radio Nigeria, NTA, Voice of Nigeria, and other choirs.
The message will be given by the Most Reverend Dr. Ignatius Kaigama, Archbishop, Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja.
And lessons will be read by notable Nigerians.
Chairman, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Chief host, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture.
Host, Directors General of FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria.
Date, 5th of December 2021.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Time, 3 p.m. prompt.
The program will be broadcast live on Radio Nigeria, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria,
including live streaming on Facebook.
For advert placement, call RATE on 0803 451 2261, Lillian on 0803 314 4383, or Bibiana on 0909 965 1270.
All COVID-19 protocols will be duly observed.
Radio Nigeria, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria Service of 9 Lessons and Carols 2021.
Supported by Vivid Sounds. Come, let's celebrate the newborn king.
COVID-19 hesitancy, status and deadline. That's our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Join us every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Tuesday Live, incisive and educative.
One country, one peaceful people, united in diversity.
We are great Nigerians.
Let's be peaceful.
We refuse to be manipulated by desperados and instigators.
You cannot succeed without your cooperation.
A peaceful and united Nigeria is possible.
Join us in one voice, one love and unity.
As we march around 36 states of Nigeria, including the FCT,
for national peace and unity campaign.
Babban taro na Najeriya domin dawo da soyayya a tsakanin 'yan Najeriya.
When the power of love overcomes the love for power.
For our country, Nigeria. Together we stand.
This message is brought to you by the ambassadors of Voice of Change Initiative, supported by Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) and Federal Capital Territory (FCT).
Welcome back. Experts on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria have applauded federal government's intention for the latest bailout intervention funds to 36 states of the Federation. They, however, insist that the sub-nationals must be held accountable for judicious utilization of the funds. Lydia Sampson reports.
Financial bailouts, the guest noted, are implemented globally as economic buffers. However, the fourth financial bailout to states by the federal government within the last 6 years has continued to generate public debate. Some harp on the need to interrogate and place conditions before states can access bailout, while others argue that states do not deserve another bailout without accounting for how previous grants were spent using key performance indicators.
When the president says help, he doesn't mean give. Okay, he means do it right. And those who are supposed to do it right, this is where we should be calling out the National Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Against what indices, against what data, against what programs, okay, are you releasing this money? And then you are supposed to be developing these KPIs. Show us your monitoring template. What have you been able to do? Show us your results for month 1 to month 6. How have you been able? Give us even a subnational, a situation analysis.
70% most of the time recurrent, and it reflects down the line at the subnational levels. So as it is, payment of salary and pensions are important, and I think the federal government intervening at this level is proper. But again, there should be a huge issue around monitoring and transparency.
We should find a way to have some level of transparency in accessing this bailout, in utilizing the bailout, and in putting certain conditions such as what has the state been able to do as far as revenue, internal generated revenue is concerned. How are they able to improve? In the last 7 or 8 years that this intervention scheme started,
investment and infrastructure bailouts that can be measured rather than for consumption and overheads. They also stressed the need for audit of previous grants and cautioned against diversion of the bailout funds for electioneering campaigns. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
All right, one more stop this time. Port Harcourt Jenny will bring us the next set of reports.
Encourage agriculture and rural development in Cross River State. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has handed over a 2.4-kilometer road with street lights to a community in the state. Erika Evie reports that the gesture of the federal government is to boost agriculture and access of farm produce to the market.
Ikododen Extension is an agrarian community in Calabar Municipality of Cross River State. The magnanimity of the federal government to construct this 2.4-kilometer road is not only succor for the people here, but also an encouragement to boost agricultural activities here. Street lights also adorn the road, which will serve to curb activities of criminal elements in the area.
It's a good thing because provision of one of the problems we are facing in the South is lack of rural infrastructure to boost food production in the country.
Yes, actually the road we have handed over today to the benefiting community was constructed by Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in Cross River State, and it's 2.4 kilometers of asphaltic road.
Leaders of the benefiting community are full of gratitude to the federal government for encouraging agricultural development in the area.
And all these projects, I'm so happy that they were professionally done and supervised, and they are serving the people.
What you see at the background there is Ministry of Agriculture. This is what we call a farm access road intervention, and it's a dream come true.
The Zonal Director, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, South Office, Michael Asebake Brooks, is advising the benefiting community to take proper care of the facility. In Calabar, Erika Evie, NTA News.
Behind almost every plate of food we consume is the work of perhaps a dozen or more farmers. However, the future of farming and of farmers in Nigeria is not as secure as we might expect. This is occasioned by the declining interest of youth participation in farming. How to change this narrative is what Jide Beronia will be telling us in this report.
Youths are the essential resources of every nation, especially for sustaining agricultural productivity as an important tool for nation building. Despite government's efforts to stimulate the interest of its younger generation through introduction of various agricultural policies, the negative assumption by some youths who see farming as a dirty and non-profitable enterprise appears to be largely responsible for their dampened interest to actively participate in farming.
These days we find out that white-collar jobs are actually not paying because job security is no more there again. So I think we've started looking back at agriculture as a big form of investment, and thank God that CBN is trying to release some kind of loans to youths.
Experts say increased involvement of youths in farming would help reduce the problems of aging smallholder farmers and youth unemployment.
Nigeria is so blessed that if we have to adopt agriculture, nobody will in fact look for people outside to come and work for us. That's how much we are blessed.
If you make that agriculture, that farm with leisure, you go there, whatever you have, he has internet, he have television, he have all games, everything, a standard place. So, and this is expensive. For you to attract youth, educated youth, it is expensive.
All hope is not lost for Africa's most populous nation. Observers say the deployment of emerging technologies in agriculture is one of the opportunities Nigeria can ride on to include more of its young population into the sector. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onyia, NTA News.
And that's it from here. We'll now pause for a break, and Nationwide will continue shortly in Abuja.
Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, in collaboration with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, OSGF, welcome you to the 3rd National Summit on Diminishing Corruption in the Public Sector. Theme: Corruption and Costs of Governance, New Imperatives for Fiscal Transparency. Date: 30th November 2021. Time: 10 a.m. prompt. Venue: State House Banquet Hall. President Muhammadu Buhari will declare the summit open. The Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, will deliver the keynote address. Highlights of the event include the recognition of winners of the 2021 Public Service Integrity Awards. Physical attendance is strictly by invitation, please. All participants are to be seated by 9 a.m. The general public is hereby invited to join on Cisco WebEx or Facebook live streaming on ICPC Nigeria. Announcer, Management.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Welcome back. The president of African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has advised world leaders not to label or penalize African nations for the new COVID-19 variant. The FDB president in tweets said Africa is not the source of COVID-19 pandemic, while calling for global justice, equity and fairness in access to vaccines. He also advocates for fairness in access to global vaccine supply. Adesina said Africa must accelerate the manufacturing of its own vaccines and set up healthcare security defense system. Africa, he said, must no longer outsource health security of its 1.8 billion people to the benevolence of others. An update on COVID-19, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 110 new cases of the virus in the country. The 110 new cases brings the total number of confirmed cases to 214,092. 207,254 have been discharged and 2,976 deaths recorded so far in the country. A look at the environment. Minister of State Environment Sharon Ikeazo says the federal government will prioritize the Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration effective from 2022 as part of implementation of the Ogoni cleanup exercise. Onenge Five reports that this is in addition to the successful remediation populated sites in Ogoni land.
Key concerns for people here in Ogoni land include timely implementation of the UNEP report, flag off of the Center of Excellence on Environmental Restoration, the scaling of livelihood support programs, as well as tackling insecurity by engaging Ogoni youth in the cleanup exercise. Others are to improve transparency and gender parity in coordinating the cleanup exercise.
Please tell the president that the Ogoni people who are his people wants that university, so that our people will be highly educated and will be more highly educated.
As local government council chairman, we have resolved that we are comfortable with Professor Philip. What we want is resolve, because the politics of headship of high prep has not taken us to anywhere.
Livelihood project remains more domesticated, so that Ogonis will feel the impact of that project.
Indigenous people acquire the required skills and ability to participate fully in the actualization of this cleanup. That is where the Center of Excellence and the Soil Management Center is set up.
This event is the first of stakeholder engagements outlined to address the cleanup of Ogoni land in Bori, River State, on NGA Fine Face, NTA News.
Science and technology have been identified as fulcrum on which the development and economic prosperity of a nation revolves, hence the need to inculcate scientific skills in children. And this was the submission of stakeholders at the 24th National South-South Zonal Junior Engineers, Technicians and Scientists competition held in Calabar. Justina Etim reports.
It is the yearnings of developing countries to attain the status of a developed nation, and analysts say the criteria lies in technological advancements. To realize this aspiration, the federal government, through the Ministry of Education, is breeding young scientists with its annual Junior Engineers, Technicians and Scientists competitions.
Well, for now, there is really nothing like scholarship for now, but we are working towards it to see how we can get not just the Federal Ministry of Education, but corporate bodies to pick up these students who have excelled in the competition.
The role of TED in this project is to elevate students in all aspects of engineering, in all sciences, in the medical line.
Students selected from public and private schools participate in oral and written quiz competitions, with Akwa Ibom State emerging as the winner of interstate quiz, while Cross River State won the national team project exhibition.
This exam is going to get us exposed to things we know and what we don't know.
Like me, I'm sure that by the end of this competition, the federal government can grant us scholarships that will be good for us.
The theme for the 2021 project exhibition is the role of science, technology and innovation in addressing human and food security in Nigeria amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
The Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology, Dr. Bayaro Farah, says the institute is focused on training thousands of Nigerians in the transport sector and infrastructure management towards contributing meaningfully to the development of the sector. He stated this when he led a team of master's degree students of the institute on a study tour to Jigawa State. Let's hear from Mohammed Musa Askira.
To what Dr. Bairo Sali Farah says was to ascertain the level of transport infrastructure in Jigawa State and make recommendations where necessary for improvement. Jigawa State, according to the Director General, Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology, has done well in the transport sector, and their week-long visit to various transport agencies and other organs of the state government has availed them the opportunity to learn a lot.
We are aiming at having an efficient transport system in the country, which is safe and secure, and which can meet the needs of the Nigerian economy in terms of timely delivery of goods and services.
Governor Muhammadu Badru Abubakar commended the team, noting that the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology has been doing well in improving Nigerian transport system through its training openings. The week-long study tour takes the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology to different parts of Jigawa State. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
The federal government is wooing more investors to invest in the country's agribusiness, urging farmers to see farming as a business venture. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar says more investment in the sector would significantly improve the standards of living of farmers in the country. Musa Baba Ali reports.
At this forum are local and foreign investors interacting with government officials, including the Minister of Agriculture, on business opportunities in the agribusiness industry.
This occasion will further encourage and trigger more commitments towards increased growth and development for agriculture and business in our country.
Because I see any person investing in agriculture as a patriotic citizen.
Synergy or our aggregated efforts will lift the Nigeria agri-food production from mere local content producer to a great export-producing nation.
Minister of Agriculture Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar informed investors that the agro industry is experiencing a revitalization with dedicated federal government policies.
Agriculture is now being acknowledged and promoted as a business and not a development program, away from the primordial perspective and able to sufficiently satisfy the socio-economic needs of its practitioners and grow the nation's economy. Our agenda is to guarantee the vibrancy of the sector. Agriculture must be seen as a business and haven for investment.
He said government is committed to industrializing the agricultural sector. Musa Baba Ali, NTA News.
Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, is currently leading the Nigerian delegation at the ongoing Future Tech Forum holding in the United Kingdom, London. The two-day event holding at the Science Museum in London, we hear, is a melting pot of ideas on global digitization. The forum seeks to address issues ranging from health, technology innovations, building blocks in digital regulation, infrastructure, climate and artificial intelligence, among others. Professor Pantami will be joining ministers of digital economies from other countries at the Ministerial Roundtable on Tuesday, 30th November 2021 to deliberate on issues related to the future of trust in data as a force for good, future of the internet, trends and opportunities, governance, challenge and keeping pace with technology in governance frameworks with global industry leaders in both the public and private sectors during the event. Back home for us, the Nigerian Television Authority has again received another pat on the back for excellent service delivery, noting her quest to unite the nation. The latest are from the International Human Rights Commission and the Defense Intelligence Agency. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
Issues of human rights violation has remained a recurring decimal within the African region and beyond, with wide-range impact on victims. To address this global phenomenon, the NTA is leading the pathway through its wide range to strengthen campaign against gross human rights abuses. Now, this is earning NTA international recognition with an award of excellence to service and humanity.
Intergovernmental will mediate between the lead and the led. There is no way you can hear a public statement coming from the International Human Rights Commission condemning the security forces. Even if we are going to do that, DG, our principles is that we write officially through our diplomatic ties with the country, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to notify government of what has been done wrongly.
I'd like to assure you that we will continue to do everything we can to ensure that gender-based violence is completely eliminated, from the Nigerian environment. But we cannot do that alone. We do that with the assistance of organizations such as yours.
The Director General of Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, also played a host to the Defense Intelligence Agency, where issues of national interest dominated discussion.
Our security agencies in Nigeria today are facing a very uphill task, and they're doing a very thankless job. But I did complain to them about the unfair treatment Nigeria has been getting, especially Nigerian security forces, from the International Human Rights Commission.
We support our troops in the front lines, so basically that's the reason why we're here, to collaborate with the NTA in order for us to push out these products to the public. So
Yakubu Ibn Mohammed says that NTA will continue to use its network in promoting peace and national cohesion. In Abuja, Omeka Marchku, NTA News.
Plateau State Governor Simon Bako Lalong has condemned in strong terms the attack on the Medium Security Custodial Center in Jos, where gunmen reportedly stormed the facility in large numbers with sophisticated weapons. Governor Lalong, while condemning the unfortunate incident, however, praised the gallantry of officers and men of the Jos Custodial Center who rose to the occasion to thwart the plans of the criminals, whose mission was to facilitate the escape of inmates and also cause destruction to the facility. Lalong also praised the quick reaction of other security agencies, joint security agencies rather, who responded swiftly to the situation and took charge of the general area leading to entrapment of the assailants as well as arrest of fleeing inmates. While describing the sad event as one too many in the nation's correctional system, Lalong said it was high time a holistic approach is applied in bringing such attacks and jailbreaks to an end in order to guarantee the safety of inmates, correctional officers, and the larger society from criminals who choose to attack the very essence of Nigeria's legal system by disrupting law and order. While directing an immediate boosting of security measures around all custodial facilities in the state, Lalong assured that the state government will work with the federal government in every way possible to ensure that all correctional facilities in the state are protected from such attacks. While awaiting full report of the incident, the governor asked the citizens of the state to remain calm. One may wonder what the world is turning into, as the next story will make you question the humanity in us. This is the story of a 48-year-old man in Jigawa State who bagged life sentence in a correctional facility for defiling and infecting a 6-year-old girl with HIV. Shocking is that the victim happens to be a sister to his wife. Let's hear the details from Hawa Haliru Haruna.
48-year Idris Munkaila Dan Asabe of Garam local government area of Jigawa State lured the 6-year-old girl, a sister to his wife who was on a visit to his house in the absence of her elder sister. It was a case that dragged for more than 4 years, but thanks to evidences presented before a state high court in Birnin Kudu, proving the case beyond reasonable doubt. The presiding judge, Musa Ubale, sentenced him to life in correctional facility. Although this conviction put smiles on the faces of parents and women activists, there are still concerns over the rising cases of rape in Jigawa, now put at more than 200 in the third quarter of 2021. They blamed it to slow pace in the prosecution of the alleged rapist arrested.
Among those that are reported to our facility, we have 84 males that has been sexually assaulted, and we have about 164 female that has been sexually assaulted and reported to our facility. We treat them successfully with many cases.
Actually, it's sad. It is really sad. It is really sad. But the judge has done right. He has done what he's supposed to do.
But the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Musa Adama Aliyu, says the state is winning the war against rape and rapists, especially with the new law against sexual assault in the state.
Violence against person law come into being in February 2021, like I said. And we have so many cases of rape before the coming of violence against person law. And now we have started charging people under violence against person law, but we didn't conclude the trial. So up to now, there is no any case which was heard and determined under violence against persons law.
For the checks at the Jigawa State Sexual Assault Referral Center reveals a disturbing statistics that stakeholders says there is need for more drastic measures to arrest the situation. The official in charge confirms that the center recorded 198 reported rape cases in 2020 and 248 cases from January to November this year.
Another sad tale, agony and sorrow was the mood of Azia people and the immediate family members of the late 18-years-old Chidinma Ezenoche, who was allegedly murdered by the police in Azia community in Hiala local government area of Anambra State. Junior Fesio Koye reports.
Her absence makes the whole world seem empty, as no words the widow, 47-year-old mother, and the grandmother of the late Chidinma Ezenoche say can explain the sadness in the depths of their soul since the ugly incident occurred on Thursday, 25th November 2021.
They don't give me already. Maybe last for 3 years, my husband left. Never recovered for that one. This one come again.
The late Chidinma, a nursery school teacher, was sent by her mother to bring bags of sachet water from one of the shops